I'm a go big or go home type of girl. I want to do it all. And I've struggled with that my entire life, and I finally am realizing it really is a problem. And so last year I sat down and I said to my husband, I am not extending the garden next year. In fact, I'm cutting back.
On a quiet stretch of land in west central Missouri sits a 125-year-old farmhouse built in 1901 by my husband's family. These walls have seen generations grow, fields planted and harvested, babies raised, and a whole lot of life lived in between. And today, we're raising the next generation here on the very same Century farm. I'm Brittney, the homestead dreamer behind my lilac hill. Most days, you'll find me in the garden with dirt in my hands, in the kitchen preserving the harvest, or out in the barn milking our family cow. I'm also raising and homeschooling our children, teaching them not just how to live, but how to live well, with intention, gratitude, and with a deep appreciation for the life that we've been given. And there's our little farm store, a piece of this life that we get to share with our community, from fresh milk to homegrown goods, all rooted in the work that we do right here. My husband Kyle is the farmer. He works this land alongside his parents, raising row crops and cattle, continuing a legacy that started long before us. Farming isn't just what he does, it's who he is. Together, we're building a life that's a little slower, a little more intentional, and deeply rooted in faith, family, and hard work. This life isn't always easy. There's a lot of early mornings and long days, unpredictable seasons, and plenty of lessons learned along the way. But it's also full of beauty. Sunsets over the pasture, the sound of calves playing in the spring, home-cooked meals around the table, and quiet moments that remind us exactly why we chose this life. Here at My Lilac Hill, we believe in making the most of what we have and finding joy in every day. Whether we're sharing farm days, homesteading routines, seasonal rhythms, or the simple moments in between, we're so glad you're here with us. This is more than just a farm. It's our home, our story, and a legacy we're honored to carry forward. This is My Lilac Hill, where faith, family, and farm life come together one season at a time.
Good morning and welcome back to the channel. I don't know what we're gonna get into today. I do have to run to town today, kind of unexpectedly, so that kind of threw a wrench in my plans for today. So we'll be doing that this afternoon. I've got to finish cleaning up from breakfast, and then we have homeschool this morning, and then my in-laws are coming over for lunch. So I don't know about you guys, but this year is the first year that daylight savings has actually had a really big impact on me. In years past, I've never really been affected by it. Maybe the first day I was a little tired, but that was it. This year, it has taken me a solid 2 weeks to kind of get back into my routine. I normally wake up around 3:30 in the morning every day. And that's not because I just love mornings. It's because if I don't, I get zero time to myself. So typically what a morning looks like for me is I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, I have my coffee, I get dressed, brush my teeth, I do a little bit of quiet time, and then I eat a protein breakfast and I head into town to the gym. I haven't been in the gym in 2 weeks because I just cannot seem to get myself out of bed that early, because instead of 3:30 in the morning, it feels like 2:30 in the morning, which is the middle of the night. And my husband jokes, he says 3:30 in the morning is the middle of the night. But it's just what I have to do, at least in this season of life, to have any semblance of time to take care of myself. And I have learned that if I don't take care of myself, it's just worse. So I have to take care of myself in order to be happy and have joy in doing all of the rest of the things I have to do all day long. So I prioritize myself very first thing in the morning, and I take care of all that. Well, the past 2 weeks has been really rough, and I have struggled getting back into my routine. Yesterday was the first day I woke up at 3:30 on time, didn't hit snooze, just got up, and I felt so much better than I have in 2 weeks. So I know it makes a difference for me mentally to be able to do that. And then today I woke up at 4. I went to bed later than I anticipated, and also my daughter woke me up a couple times last night, and so I was just a little tired, so I hit snooze, but I woke up at 4. And I came down here and I had my coffee and I brushed my teeth and I got dressed and I did my quiet time. And I set out my kettlebells outside because I plan on doing a kettlebell workout since I didn't drive into town this morning to go to the gym. And so I'll be doing my workout later today. And I just wanted to pop in here because I have struggled in my motherhood journey on finding ways to take care of myself so that I can be a better mom and not have a short temper or not just be so exhausted that I can't show up the way that I want to show up. And you would think waking up at 3:30 in the morning, I'd be so much more tired, but I'm not. I actually have so much more energy. If I get up at 3:30 in the morning, I have such a good day. I don't know what it is. It just sets me off on the right foot for the whole day. And I don't go to bed super early this time of year. In the wintertime, if it's dark, I want to go to bed. So I struggle to stay up to 8 o'clock at night in the wintertime. But in the spring and summer and fall, I usually go to bed 10:30 or 11, which I don't consider early. Some people probably do, but when you wake up at 3:30 in the morning, it's not like I'm getting a whole ton of sleep. But I feel better. And so I'm forcing myself to do it even on days that I'm tired. And I know it will end up being better. But I just wanted to throw that out there because if you're like me and this is the first year that you've struggled with daylight savings, you're not alone. All that being said, I have a lot of things that I could do today. But with going to town, and when I say going to town, it takes us an hour to get there if there's traffic, 45 minutes if there's not. And we have to return something, and so I don't know how big of an ordeal that's going to be. Not really return, we have to exchange something. When I went to Costco earlier in the week and I bought an iPad, they gave me the wrong one, and so I got to go exchange it for the right one. And sometimes that's quick at Costco and sometimes it's not. So we'll see how long that takes. We will also have both of the kids with us, and when I say us, yes, Kyle is going with me because my car decided to break down yesterday. We took my car to check the cows because we were dropping off Kyle's truck to get new tires with our brother-in-law who owns the shop. And while we were out, the air conditioner decided to quit working and started acting like it was going to lock up and throw a belt. So my car is parked until Kyle has time to fix it. He did order the parts. But also, we only have one other vehicle that all of us can fit in, and since we've got the kids, Kyle has to go with me because his other feed truck is now getting tires put on it. We swapped with my brother-in-law. He put the tires on this truck last night, brought it back to us, took the other truck. He's going to put tires on it today. So yeah, it's just been kind of one of those days. And right now it's quiet in the house only because Maggie is with Kyle. She loves to go to work with him, and so every now and then she throws a huge meltdown tantrum, and when I say every now and then, I mean every day, to go to work with him. And today he was able to go a little bit slower and take her. So he has her on his back and he is moving the cows to their next pasture. I'm finishing up cleaning. I'm about to turn the camera off because I'm going to call Miles downstairs to do homeschool, and I'm not filming that. But I will see you again when we get done, and hopefully there's time before I have to start cooking lunch to go outside and get some work done. Anybody else feel like no matter what you do and how productive you are, you just still never can get everything done? Because that's how I feel. That's how I feel every day. We just got done with homeschool, and Kyle came back in to tell me that he's done moving the cows at this farm, and he's headed up to what we call the Hill, which is another farm of ours, to move the cows over there. Miles really wanted to go with him, so both kids are going with him, which is going to allow me to get in a nice workout and maybe get started on some outdoor work. So I've got my workout written down. I'm gonna grab my kettlebells and I'm gonna head outside to do my workout. Okay, got my workout done, and it was good. The sun is shining bright, which I love. It did make it a little toasty because it's warm this morning. And speaking of it being warm, you can probably hear it. I don't know, I'll have to see when I go to edit this. The flies are swarming. If you live on a farm, or maybe even just a small homestead too, but we live on a massive farm. Flies, the first few warm days of the year, are insane. It's like a horror movie. They come out of nowhere in droves. They're buzzing. You can't even step outside without hearing the buzzing of flies. We have a white house, so the entire east side of my house is polka dotted right now because it's speckled with so many flies. It's disgusting and it's annoying. It doesn't last all year though. It's like the first couple of weeks in the spring, and then they go mind their own business for a while, and then in the fall they come back. And yeah, it's not my favorite thing to live with, but when you live on a farm, you live with flies. So now that my workout is done, I'm gonna drink my amino acids and I might just take a walk around the garden, try to figure out what I want to do next. Also, I wanted to say, I'm in no way a professional when it comes to exercising or weightlifting or any of that. I am just working on my health and I'm doing what makes me feel good. And you probably think my form looks terrible, but you should have seen it 6 months ago. Like, I've improved a lot. I'm getting better. The more and more weight I lose and muscle I build, the better I get. And you can post nasty comments if you want, but I don't care. It makes me feel good, and that's all that I care about. So I'm gonna keep on doing it. And if you are trying to get into the swing of things, of taking care of yourself, forget about what other people think. Most of the time, people don't even pay attention to you. I promise. Most of the time, they're in their own world, and I know that because I go to a gym. I go to an all-girls gym, so it might be different at other gyms, I don't know. But I go to an all-female gym, and nobody's paying attention to anybody. Half the time, we're not even paying attention to what we're doing, and the trainers have to call us out and be like, you're doing the wrong thing. You're doing the wrong thing. So it's fine. But anyways, I just wanted to say that really quick before people are like, you shouldn't be promoting that because you're doing it wrong. I'm not promoting it. I'm just taking care of myself, and that I am promoting. You should take care of yourself no matter what other people think. Now I'm gonna go for a stroll around the garden and try and figure out what I can do while Kyle still has the kids and I can be productive. Do you see what I mean? They're everywhere. It's awful. Like, just everywhere. Okay, here we go. This is my garden. It is about, let me think, 100 feet long by about 75 feet wide. I am sweating like crazy. Anyways, 100 feet long, 75 feet wide. And last year was the year I finally was like, I'm gonna stop doing it how everybody online is doing it. I'm gonna do it how I wanna do it. I've been gardening for about 12 years, and I've learned a lot in that 12 years, but I still have a lot to learn, and I've learned a lot about what I like and what I don't like. There was a period of time where I was super critical of raised beds. That was before I had kids, and also before I married a farmer, like a full-time row crop and cattle farmer. Raised beds are great. Raised beds are great. You can control your soil in them better. You can control the weeds in them better. They do have a few downsides, but honestly, for the season of life I'm in, I love raised beds. There was also a period of time where I was incredibly critical of using landscape fabric. I had used it a couple times, decided I hate it, never using it again. Look what I just put down. A lot of landscape fabric because, again, the season of life I'm in, this makes it so much easier. And this is the year that I take back the joy in gardening. It is not fun when you have weeds and stuff growing up that are taller than you, which I don't know if you can see it. That trailer back there, full of weeds. It's not the only load of weeds that I've hauled out of here. We burned a bunch. This thing looked awful last year. If I can, I'll try and throw some footage in here to show you. It got just way away from me because I wanted to do it 100% regeneratively. I wanted to feed the soil. I didn't want any plastic in my garden if I could avoid it. I didn't want raised beds. I just wanted it to be perfect. And that's just not the season of life I'm in. And it took me a long time to admit it. But now that I've admitted it, I feel a lot better. And so this year, I'm going into my garden with slightly more realistic expectations. Now, I say slightly because I am a dreamer and I'm a, how do you say it? I'm a go big or go home type of girl. I want to do it all. And I've struggled with that my entire life, and I finally am realizing it really is a problem. And so last year I sat down and I said to my husband, I am not extending the garden next year. In fact, I'm cutting back. And last fall I did that. I took about half of my garden out. And he knew better. He didn't say it at the time, but he knew I wasn't serious. And so let me show you what I did. As it turns out, when I told him I wasn't expanding, it was a bold-faced lie. Let me show you where the garden ended last year, and it was just a big grassy patch. You can see I did use a few rows of landscape fabric last year. I used 8 rows here and 4 rows up at the front. But I had a lot of in-ground stuff as well that I won't be having this year without the plastic. Anyways, I digress. This row right here is where the landscape fabric ended, and all of this was grass, with the exception of a small arch trellis down towards the end. And, well, clearly I have expanded quite a bit. And right there are my new cattle panels because I wanted to extend the arch trellis. So I bought 20 new T-posts and 5 new cattle panels. And that's not all, my friends. So in addition to claiming I was not going to extend the primary garden, which is in our front yard, I extended the pasture garden as well. I told my husband, I said, let's put a gate in between the front yard and the pasture to make it easier for me to go and get everything taken care of in the pasture. And so I basically just gave myself permission to extend the garden even more. And my husband laughed at me. He said, you weren't doing this. I said, yeah, I wasn't, but now I am. So let's do it. Let me flip it around and show you. So we're not done yet. This from here over was about all of the pasture gardening that we did last year. I had him plow up this section for me, and I was debating on if I wanted landscape fabric here or if I'm just gonna plow it all up. Everything that's going out here is pumpkins, melons, cushaw squash, winter squash, that kind of thing. So we plowed up a part for the potatoes, and I was like, do I want to do that on this side or do I want to leave it? I think we're going to go ahead and plow that up, kind of smooth it out just a little bit, and I'm going to get my potatoes planted out here pretty soon. Today's March 20th, so I need to get that worked on, and then all of our pumpkins and melons and all that is going to go out here. So now, in addition to the 75-foot by 100-foot garden that I call my main garden, I doubled it. So now I have that in the pasture too. And that's on not overextending yourself. Clearly, I still have a lot to learn. But wait, there's more. I forgot all about my blueberries, and I bought more gooseberries, and I'm gonna put the berry patch out in the pasture too. So I'm gonna have to take the berries that I planted in the primary garden, dig them up, move them out to the pasture. And then I bought more blueberries, and they're up by the house. Eventually they'll have to go out to the pasture, but I didn't have everything set up in time. So now they're by the house in raised beds, little raised beds that are easy to move. And I got a green stalk. Yeah. So, no, I didn't expand. No, I took on less this year. At least that's what I tell myself, because I don't know, there's just something about garden season that I can't help it. I cannot help it. But the one thing that I did do this year that is going to change the game for me, we bred Dolly to be a fall calving cow. Dolly is our milk cow, if you are new to the channel and didn't know that. Last year she calved in June. We just dried her up, and she is out in pasture rotation with the beef herd right now, and she is set to calve towards the end of September. So I don't have to take care of the milk cow and the garden at the same time. At least not while the garden is like massively producing. I still do a fall garden, but it's so much smaller. But wait, there's more. And I forgot about this part. This part's not entirely my fault this year. My husband bought this for me as a gift when we got married. And because we're farmers and we take on more than we can chew, and we have a real problem with not being able to get things done because we take on more than we can chew, we have this area. We had to move, let me see if I can find it, that building. It used to sit right here. And it was an old chicken house. And my husband moved it with the help of his dad. And he leveled this spot out for the high tunnel that he bought me almost 3 years ago. And the goal is to get it built sometime this year, 2026. He's got the ground leveled finally. We got the building moved. That was the biggest hurdle, at least in my girl brain. I tell him all the time that I underestimate the amount of work that goes into those types of projects because I truly just don't know what goes into that kind of stuff. And he told me that this actually surprised him too. He didn't realize there was going to be as much leveling as there was, but it was basically a big hole underneath that building. So it's been a lot of work. But the high tunnel is sitting in pieces along that fence back there, and we just got to get it put up. And I say just, knowing that it's going to be a big project and we're going to need a lot of help. But my husband is hopeful that by the end of 2026, I will have a high tunnel standing and we'll be planting a winter garden. So stay tuned. Also next on the list is getting that post installed so we can keep the gate closed because the squeaking is a little annoying. So while I am out here, I guess I'll just kind of briefly go over the running list that is in my head of things that I'd like to get done. Number one, I would like to get my new arch trellis installed. It's gonna go the length of the black fabric. And where these two T-posts here, that's where it's gonna go. So it's gonna go all the way down. I'd like to get that installed. Next thing I'd like to do is finish cleaning up from the fall. So over there is a lot of cleanup. You can see little pieces of the black landscape fabric. I had like 4 rows there last year. And we had, like I said, we had a massive amount of weeds. The duck pond is in here because we had the ducks on here in the fall and we never moved it. So the little duck, we call it the duck pond. It's a little kiddie pool, but it's still in here and it needs to get moved out. The rest of the weeds need to get picked up. These straw bales that I attempted to grow in last year, and that was a miserable fail because I didn't keep them watered and they dry out very quickly. So that was my fault. But they are sitting there composting basically because I plan to use them in a project. I'm just gonna warn you, I feel like you probably are gonna have a hard time keeping up with me in this video because I'm gonna bounce back and forth a lot because that's how my brain works. So the straw bales, they're gonna be used in a project later. Where I was showing you the landscape fabric that needs cleaned up, this fall I am building more raised beds there and ripping that landscape fabric out, and it's gonna be grass walkways, or maybe clover, I haven't decided, but there's gonna be a walkway that I mow, and raised beds that are about 2 feet off the ground. Because now I have 2 kids. Gardening with one kid, especially my oldest, he didn't get into stuff like that. He just was not that kind of kid. Yeah, he set me up for a lot of success. I thought my parenting was great. It's not me. Because my daughter has humbled me and she gets into everything. And so I gotta have raised beds that are tall enough to keep her out because this doesn't. Speaking of things to keep out, our cows got out last fall and they broke my windows. These are the windows that fit perfectly on top of my frames to create, or on top of my beds here to create a cold frame. And they broke them. So we've got to get the bobcat out here and scoop all that glass up. I don't let my kids out here right now while there's glass there, but that has to get picked up. So add that to the list. Back to what we started talking about at the beginning. So this area here needs to get cleaned up. All of the straw bales need to get cleaned up a little bit because, like I said, I'm not expanding this year, right? So from here, where the fabric ends, all the way to where the fabric starts over there, it's gonna be grass. It's just gonna be grass. I am not going to garden that this year. I make no promises for future years. I'm putting that on record right now. It will probably end up being garden space at some point, but not this year. I do want to put horseshoe pits here. They will start here and they will go down that direction. And the reason I want to do that is because I love playing horseshoes and I think it'd be something fun for the family. And then that may or may not happen this year either. I don't know. The other thing that I want to get done this spring before it gets too hot is finish. I was pregnant when I started painting this and I didn't want to climb a ladder. And then last year I was just struggling to keep up with my daughter and my son. And so I didn't finish it. I need to finish priming the shed so that I can paint it. I'm gonna paint it a blue color. I've picked out the paint color. I wanna get that project done. If I don't get it done before it gets too hot, it'll wait till fall because there's nothing more unappealing to me than painting in 100-degree weather. Don't wanna do it. So we'll get the glass cleaned up. Maybe I'll get that painted, maybe I won't. Then I've got my raised beds here that I need to top off with some compost and some topsoil and get them amended so they're ready to plant in. My onions will be going in there. I have garlic in this one. I will also be putting carrots in one of them. Let's head down to the part of the garden that last year I took out because remember, I wasn't expanding this year. No, I wasn't doing that. In fact, I was cutting back. So let's go talk about that. Okay, now I'm standing on the northern edge of the garden and the way this was divided last year, and I'll try to throw a picture in here to make it make more sense, but from the south edge, 50 feet towards the north, that was all vegetable garden. Then I took a short little break, and then about the last 25 feet was all flowers. So from those straw bales all the way to those giant weeds down there, I had rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of cut flower, filler flower, that type of stuff. I took all that out. As you can see, there's some remnants of some rows. This is the old, I had a short trellis I told you about right here, and that's the 4 cattle panels that was used for that. That will get put back into the trellis again, but I took all of the cut flower area out. Now this year, the only area I'm gonna have cut flowers is this little area here. Just gonna do zinnias and sunflowers, maybe cosmos, and maybe like some bachelor buttons and stuff like that. I have yarrow and everything else planted as well throughout the property, but this right here is about the only area I'm gonna do a small cut flower patch. Then, as you can see, the edge of the fabric here, which I plan on ripping that out. I used that last year, I don't like it there, I'm ripping that out. But from here over is all gonna be grass. It's gonna have to grow back in, but we're gonna mow that. And then this starts the cottage garden. And I'm still tweaking my design, so things might change. But as of right now, I have a little bit of an L shape there and a little bit of an L shape here. And I planted things like azalea, weigela, butterfly bush, some sedum, a hydrangea, and some veronica. I plan on extending that cottage garden, but I want to see how it grows in this year. I planted that last fall, and so this will be the first year I really see it like all season long and try to get a picture of what I want. But my vision, okay, let's turn around. So the cottage garden is on both sides of me, and my vision is to have like a walkway that direction towards a fire pit that we can all sit at and enjoy. Because remember, I said I'm bringing the joy back to my garden. I want my family in my garden. I want them to enjoy being in my garden. For those of you who haven't followed me for very long, I used to run a CSA program, and last year I had a breakdown, and the CSA was causing me so much stress that I just said I'm done, because it was taking all of the joy out of my garden. My kids they were fearful to even step foot in the garden because they were like, well, mom's gonna get mad if I break that, or if I pick something that's supposed to go to CSA. And I would have been frustrated and upset and annoyed, and I just didn't want any of that. So I set the CSA down. It was very hard for me to do, but it was the right choice, and I'm very happy that I did it. And so we are gonna bring some fun elements back to this garden. The fire pit, the horseshoe pit, grassy areas for the kids to sit and play while I work. It's gonna be great. Got a lot of cleanup left to do, but it's gonna be great. So we are standing, like here's one L-shaped area of the cottage garden. Here is the other. I've got a little bench. Like it's gonna be great, guys. Like I can see it in my head. You probably can't see it, and I'm probably not making a lot of sense because I'm just rambling. But like I'm a visionary type person. I see it. I see exactly how it's gonna be set up in my head, and it's gonna be great. One of the other things that I want to do is I want to build an outdoor kitchen in my garden, because why? Why would you not? You grow the food in the garden, you should cook the food in the garden. And so it won't happen this year because of budget, and I don't know if it'll happen next year, but within the next 5 years, I will have an outdoor kitchen right here, right on the edge of my garden. So my garden's here, outdoor kitchen will be here, spin around, the house is right there. It's perfect. And my husband bought new boards to replace on the picnic table. So we'll have our picnic table, we'll have our outdoor kitchen. There will be string lights. My kids play right here. Like, do you see it? It's starting to come together. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a hangout for the whole family. And in a few months, it's not gonna look like this. I'm excited. I hope you're excited to watch and follow along. And at this point, I've rambled far too long. Kyle's probably already on his way back with the kids. So I don't even really know. I guess I was originally talking about the list of things I could get done. And I guess I just went through the list of things. And obviously it's not a day's worth of work. So it's gonna take me, oh, and then, yeah, my kid's zip line. It was a Christmas present from Kyle's parents, and Miles loves it. Maggie loves it too. We just hold her and she pretends like she's going down it. So yeah, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have a zip line and horseshoe pits and an outdoor kitchen and a fire pit and string lights and flowers and vegetables. What could go wrong? It's a lot of work. And my husband is very helpful. He helps me a lot, but this time of year he cannot help me at all. And so for the next few months, it's just gonna be me trudging along day by day, trying to change how this garden looks and make it how I feel like a garden should look. I am done chasing what everybody else is doing. For the longest time, I just did everything in straight rows, and I tried to just make everything so perfect. And that is a lot of times what you see online, but it's fake. It's either fake or they don't have kids. Or they have kids, but they have somebody watching them, or something. They're better than me, I guess. I don't know. I can't do it. And so I'm gonna do what I can do and what I like doing and what makes me happy. So I hear my husband's truck coming down the road. So he'll be here soon, and I'll probably have to start cooking lunch. And so I'm headed back into the house. We'll cook some lunch, and then we'll go to town, get this iPad switched out, come back, and since it stays daylight longer, maybe I'll be able to get some work done this evening as well. All right, I'm back in the house. I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna get started cooking lunch. But I wanted to tell you, I haven't edited this video yet, but I can just tell already when I'm editing it, I'm gonna see the difference in my mood before my workout and after my workout. And it just kind of goes back to show you what I was talking about earlier, taking the time first thing in the day to take care of myself truly just puts me in a better mood and makes me a better person all around, makes me happier, makes me more patient with my kids. It makes me more patient with myself, with my husband. I love my kids. I love that I'm able to stay home with them There are days where I want to pull my hair out. I'm being perfectly honest with you. But I love them. And I am truly blessed. I have prayed for this life. Those of you who know me in real life know for my entire life, I've prayed for literally everything that I have right now. This family, my husband, this farm. I am living my dream life. And so sometimes I feel guilty that I get so stressed out by it. But it is still stressful. Motherhood is stressful. Being a wife can be stressful. Farming is stressful. And so I just wanted to say, you can probably tell by my attitude and my demeanor how much happier I am now after I've worked out. Go outside, touch the grass, feel the sunshine, get some exercise in. You will feel better. So I mentioned earlier that my in-laws will be here for lunch, and we are having tacos. So in this pan, I've got 1 pound of the ground beef that we raised, and I've got 1 pound of venison from a deer that our neighbor harvested this year. And he gifted us with some of the cuts from his deer. So we are just mixing that. And I had made stir-fry rice yesterday, and we have some leftovers, so we can have that in our tacos. I'm getting ready to finish processing all of the veggies for our tacos. We have some lettuce today. We have some peppers and onion, and then I had never heard of this particular ingredient in a taco prior to meeting my husband, but now I cannot eat a taco without it, or I don't like to, and it's shredded carrot. Does anybody else eat shredded carrots in your tacos? Because we do, and honestly, I love it. It's just an added crunch, and it gives it kind of a sweetness. And so I'm going to be peeling and shredding some carrot, and I'm just going to let that beef and venison finish cooking, and then I'll season it. I'll get my rice out and get that steamed up. We have hard shells and soft shells, and we also have enough lettuce that if somebody wanted, they could, I had to close the cabinet, it was bothering me. If somebody wanted, they could have a taco salad. So, we'll see how it all comes together. I just did a massive Costco haul on Monday, so we have pretty much everything you could want. We've got some hot sauces. One of our favorite toppings, and I'll have to go downstairs to the cellar to get some more. One of our favorite toppings is the zucchini relish that I can every year. We're almost out. So I'll probably go get a jar because we love it, but we are going to have to make some more of that this year because we cannot go without it. We like a pretty rough chop on our veggies for our tacos. And don't judge my knife skills. I am well aware that I don't have any, but I get the job done. So it'll be fine. And yes, I do cut myself frequently because I'm not very careful, and I usually have too much going on at one time. These are the seedless peppers that Costco is carrying right now. They've changed their little lunchbox style peppers. They used to have a different kind. These are way better. I wish they weren't seedless because I would save seeds and grow them. These have been some of the sweetest, most delicious peppers I have ever had. And these will not be wasted. They will go to our chickens, so don't worry about that. And yes, I did take home ec. I did take culinary. I was taught the proper way to do this. I don't like being told what to do, so I do it how I like, and I haven't died yet. I used to have one of those really nifty, you see them on like TikTok all the time, but those really nifty, like you put the vegetable in the top and you turn the little thing and it comes out. I used to have one of those, loved it, ordered one. It hasn't got here yet, but I am anxiously awaiting its arrival because I don't like this. It gets the job done, but I don't like it. And these carrots have already been washed once. I washed them before I put them in the fridge, but I'm going to wash them again after I peel. So if you're wondering why I didn't wash them, that's why. If Miles was here, he would be peeling these carrots for me. It's one of his favorite things. He loves peeling potatoes and carrots, and he has gotten pretty good at it. We're trying, he's 6 years old. We're trying really hard to raise a responsible, respectful, capable young man. And let me tell you guys, it's not for the faint of heart. I'm just trying to raise him so that his future wife likes me. Doesn't blame me for things. And we can get along and enjoy time together and things like that. And that she is grateful for the work that I've put in and not resentful for it. And if she is resentful, I'll show her this video and tell her, I tried really hard. I'm just kidding a little bit. He's going to be just fine. But we are trying to implement routines and chores that are age appropriate for him, and peeling carrots and potatoes is a great one. He loves to clean the baseboards, and I'm not joking, he actually does love to do it. He tells me it's fun. I give him a little bit of cleaner and a wash rag, and he goes to town, and it helps me and he enjoys it, so it's a win-win. All right, I've got lunch done. I've got a hamburger. I've got some rice to mix in. And then for the toppings, we have lettuce, carrots, bell pepper, onion, salsa, zucchini relish, and I had to go get another one. And I only have like 4 or 5 more of these little ones left, and then we're out for the year. So gonna have to make more. Cholula, homemade ranch. The ranch is made with the Greek yogurt, so you could really use either, but Greek yogurt as a sour cream substitute. Hard taco shells because my son does not like soft taco shells. Some cheese and some soft taco shells. Y'all, it was a hot one today. It got up to 92 today, and on Monday, so today's Friday, this past Monday, just a few days ago, it was 15 degrees with wind chills of like negative. And it's 92 degrees today, bright and sunny, as you can tell by my redness. Maggie is eating a little bit of lunch. She was asleep when we left to go to Costco, and so she is having her taco now. And everything went really good at Costco. We exchanged the iPad. It was the easiest. I said, this is what happened. This is what was supposed to happen. They said, okay. And they fixed it. They gave me my money back for what they had overcharged. I thought it was going to be an ordeal. It was the easiest return I've ever experienced. So I'm very thankful for that. We were back within, I looked at my watch when we went into the store, and it was 1:45, and we were back home by 2:45, and we live 45 minutes away. So within an hour, we had it dealt with and back home. So that was pretty good. Also picked up 8 more bags of the potting soil that was $7.99 on sale, just to kind of top off some of my raised beds. And Maggie and I are staying inside for the remainder of the afternoon because I'm a little sunburnt and I really don't want her getting sunburnt. And Miles, if you're not familiar with this, our family is a blended family, and this is his dad's weekend. So Miles is getting ready to go over to his dad's for the weekend. So he's outside soaking in the last few minutes of being here, playing with his dog and hanging out, and he'll be leaving here shortly. So I'm going to hop off of here and spend some time with him before he leaves for the weekend. And then maybe if it cools down a little bit when the sun starts heading down, we'll go back outside, but we'll just have to play it by ear. Kyle was able to finish plowing over here in the pasture. So you are looking at the squash, pumpkin, melon patch, potato patch. Well, I need to haul out some water to my fruit trees and get them watered, get my magnolia tree watered. And I'm gonna have to water my winter sowing jugs. I'm not sure how well that's going to work this year. It doesn't usually get to 90 degrees in March, so hopefully that didn't do too much it dried them out a little bit, so I got to get them watered, but hopefully it didn't ruin my winter sowing for this year, because I didn't do any other method of seed starting because I have nowhere in my house to keep them away from her. So hopefully I don't have to buy too many from a nursery, because I haven't had to do that in a long time. Well guys, I am headed over to water my magnolia tree, And then I'm gonna play with my daughter for a little bit while it's nice and cool outside. So that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.